On April 2nd, 2025, global financial markets shattered. Stocks plunged, bond yields soared, oil prices crashed, and the US dollar became practically radioactive. Gold, the one safety net left, skyrocketed in value, breaching $4,000 an ounce within mere days. All of it, a jaw-dropping $15 trillion wiped off the face of the global economy, was tied to one man, standing triumphantly in the White House Rose Garden. Donald Trump had declared, with dramatic flair, "My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day." But this wasn't a victory, this was chaos. Trump's so-called Liberation Day was his announcement of reciprocal global tariffs targeting every industrialized nation on Earth, except countries he deemed friendly. Russia? Exempt. North Korea? Sure. Venezuela? Why not? At the bottom of the Fox News chyron, the market reaction unfolded in real time, echoing the panic of Black Tuesday in 1929. This was economic self-destruction on steroids, and here's how we got there. It started years earlier, in Trump's first term, when the 45th president found himself increasingly paranoid about who'd shoulder the blame if the U.S. economy faltered. Enter Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and chief problem solver, or, as some would argue, the chief exacerbator. Known for Googling his way through global diplomacy, Kushner's task was to find someone to craft an economic battle plan. Scrolling through Amazon, Kushner stumbled upon a book titled Death by China by Peter Navarro. It was perfect. China, tariffs, eye-catching melodrama. The problem? Navarro was neither a business executive nor a government insider. He was an academic with zero real-world economic experience. Navarro built much of his economic philosophy on a fictional expert named Ron Vara, an anagram of his own name. Ron Vara, the imaginary guru, became the intellectual backbone behind Navarro's ideas, a literal figment of his imagination shaping real-world policy. Yes, Navarro's go-to authority in his books and White House memos was a person who didn't exist, much like John Miller, the fictitious Trump spokesman Trump himself once impersonated over the phone. And so, armed with Navarro's advice and a formula that was barely more than gibberish, Trump's wizard team assembled. Navarro presented a meaningless mathematical framework to justify the tariffs, introducing Greek symbols for flair, each canceling the other out, like a chalkboard prop from a bad sci-fi movie. The formula was absurdly simple. Take a country's trade surplus or deficit, divide it, multiply by 2, and voila, tariff percentages. Experts tried to make sense of it, but quickly realized it had all the economic rigor of monopoly money. Trump, meanwhile, reveled in the theatrics. At each briefing, he boasted that nations were lining up to kiss my ass for trade deals. It was Trumpian theater at its finest, grandiosity masking ineptitude. But when April 2nd, 2025 arrived and Liberation Day unleashed, the consequences were undeniable. Every major trading partner retaliated overnight. Global supply chains imploded. Jobs evaporated. And as prices surged amidst collapsing currencies, the world realized it wasn't just Trump or Navarro or even Kushner who'd made this mess. It was the collective failure to say, no, this is insane. Today, historians struggle to quantify Ron Vara's impact on the global financial catastrophe. Was he a symbol of delusion or a cautionary tale about blind trust in authority? Maybe both. But what's clear is how one Amazon search, one fictional expert, and one man's desire for attention pulled the pin on a $15 trillion grenade. Liberation Day was anything but liberating. It became a monument to hubris, reminding the world that economic decisions built on fantasy are doomed to crumble, dragging reality down with them.